Good morning. You can see I have my holiday bow in my hair today. But we're going to read the true story of the three little pigs today. Now, this is told as John Saiska, Saiska and illustrated by Lane Smith. Now, this is a little bit different story than the three little pigs that we read the other day. So, this story is told from the perspective or the view of the wolf. And in the first story that read the three little pigs, the wolf was bad. He was trying to blow everybody's house down. Well, this time the wolf is telling the story and he's trying to say he's not bad. He just had a bad cold. And when he sneezed, the houses fell down. So let's read the story and see what you think. The True Story of the Three Little Pigs by A. Wolf, as told by John Skaliska, illustrated by Lane Smith. Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe because it's our diet. Because wolves, they're carnivores, they like to eat meat. Hey, it's not my fault that wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back and once upon a time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold, and I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, Little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed a giant sneeze. Ah, chew! And you know what? That whole darn house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner laying in the straw, so I ate it. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little bit better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar, so I went to the next door neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Hey, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, Go away, wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin. See his razor right there, getting ready to shave the hairs on his chin. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I stuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. Achoo! And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now you know food will spoil. It'll go bad if you just leave it out in the open. Got to put it in the refrigerator, right? So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little bit better. And I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake, so I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in? And you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, wolf. Don't bother me again. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me even one little cup from my dear sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed. Once again, achoo! Then the third little pig yelled, and your old granny can sit on a pin. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course, I was trying to break down the pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history. So the newspaper's saying, the big bad wolf. Wolf, I'll huff and I'll puff, and he's going to jail. The news reporters found out about the two pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting, so they jazzed up the story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. The real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. So what do you guys think? Do you think the wolf was framed? Do you think they made him just look bad? Or do you think he was really trying to eat those pigs on purpose? Or was he just trying to go borrow a cup of sugar and sneezed and those bad houses just fell on down on their own? I'm not so sure. You tell me what you think.